Good day guys, Rudolph here. Thank you for joining us in this episode. We are going to visit the Khutse Game Reserve. I'm going to show you guys the campsites. I'm going to go and visit some of the waterholes, go to one of the pans, maybe two of the pans, we'll see. And then I'll show you guys what to expect around the campsite and how we do it here.
So, the first challenge of the trip had us fighting through Gabarone's early morning traffic before we could take on the open road, which was a 3-hour drive that would lead us straight through a few villages into the park entrance of the Khutse Game Reserve. Also, I would highly recommend to make a last-minute stop at the total filling station in the village of Letlakeng for refueling, as well as picking up some last-minute necessities that you might have forgotten to pick up while you were in Gaborone. After refueling at the filling station in Letlakeng, the next bit of road would be a 100-kilometer stretch of a rough dirt road that will bring you straight to the park entrance of the Khutse Game Reserve. I usually set up camp as soon as possible when I reach these parks, because Khutse is one of the parks in the central Kalahari Game Reserve, and these parks are known for their predators as well as the big cats, who do not mind or are afraid to come into your campsites at night in search for a piece of leftover meat that you have cooked on the campfire. These cats also don't mind having a little sip out of the dishwater that you might have left a little bit too close to your tent. This first night in Khutse, while lying in tent, we could hear a bunch of jackals and a pride of lions calling right through the night from midnight up to the crack of dawn. For the first morning, we didn't wake up too early, knowing that the Moaisui waterhole, which was our first stop, wouldn't be too far from our Khutse Moaisui campsite number 1 where we stayed at. The time we spent in Khutse was in the dry seasons at the end of our BOTSWANA winter. This waterhole gets its water from a nearby borehole that is being pumped via solar power to supply the animals with much needed water in these dry seasons, and we really hoped that this would give us a good chance of spotting some animals as well as to see what birds we would find at the water's edge. We were fortunate enough on this occasion to have this beautiful sighting of an adult bateleur, which is recorded to be an endangered species on the list of the conservation status indicator. Even though it is recorded that Khutse does not have any elephants that stay in the park, you might still be lucky enough to see a travelling herd stopping for a dip and a drink in the cool water around the waterholes. We then decided to move on to the other pan called Moaisui, to see if this pan would also be filled with wildlife. Even though this pan was completely dry, it still blessed us with plenty of animals to see. In this one pan alone, we saw many different types of species, including a good-sized herd of oryxes, plenty springbuck, 2 ostrich, a little family of Cape ground squirrels, with their little watchful eyes to make sure that they see a predator long before the predator sees them. We were also fortunate enough to see a bat-eared fox who wasn't too happy to stay and give us a nice video shot. After this brief encounter with a shy bat-eared fox, we managed to spot 2 black-backed jackal who knew that they had to stay clear from these male oryxes with their spear-shaped horns, and they also disappeared very quickly into the bush. After a long hot day of beautiful animal sightings, we were heading back to camp to get an early night's rest, knowing that we had to wake up before dawn to see if we had any chance of spotting this pride of lions that were calling the whole night long for the second night in a row. It's 4:30 AM and we passed this weary springbuck on our way to the waterhole, where we saw a silhouette making its way towards the waterhole, not knowing at this point what it could be. Whatever it was passing through our headlights and behind the bushes, so we had to turn the vehicle and face it so that we can see directly what this could have been. And there he was, Even though it was not a pride of lions, seeing a leopard male in a park the size of the Khutse National Game Reserve and with only a total population in Botswana of 4,295 leopards recorded in May 2020 was truly a very special moment. This was my first time ever to spot a male leopard in the wild, and having the opportunity to capture him on my camera was even more than I could have asked for. It was very clear that we were not the only ones who knew about this pride of lions in the area of the Moaisui campsite and waterhole. I can only guess by the level of caution in his body language that the lions were not far and that this waterhole clearly belonged to this pride of lions. It wasn't long before he decided to walk off and disappear into the African bush to enjoy the rest of the day being lazy in the branches of a huge acacia tree. And just like that, he was gone. What a spectacular animal. We couldn't have asked for a more magical ending to our first but definitely not our last visit to the Khutse National Game Reserve. I thank you for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed sharing this experience of Khutse with you. Please like, subscribe and share this video with someone you know, and invite them to join us on the next adventure in the Moaisui Game Reserve, which is in the eastern part of the Okavango Delta, and I will see you on the next bucket list adventure.